Hello, this is Reginald Andre with Arc Solvers, the number one cybersecurity company in South Florida, Miami, and Fort Lauderdale region. And today we have some new news about hackers that have reportedly breached the U.S. government agencies. And this is just more of a news. No, not to scare anybody, but this is just to provide information about what's going on and how these hackers according to news reports, have reportedly got into two agencies. So specifically, the hackers carried out a cyber attack on the U.S. Treasury Department and a section of the U.S. Department of Commerce. And the original reports talked about how the hackers were able to then view the emails of these two departments. And the only thing with that is the emails were with Microsoft because actually most of the federal agencies use Microsoft Office 365 for their emails. And that is actually, I believe the statistic is more than 40% of businesses use the Microsoft Office 365. So originally when this news report came out yesterday, it was very concerning because if you have 40% of the US population on this Microsoft Office 365 platform, and here you have two federal government agencies where nation states were able to read these people's emails, then what does that mean for the little guys like us that have, I would say basic policies as compared to what the government has? Because we always talk about for our businesses to have certain restrictions such as two-factor authentication, multi-factor authentication for the emails. But with the government, they put even more layers of security in place to make sure that their federal workers and the emails are not compromised. So for nation states to then be able to get into these departments, that just kind of was like very worrisome for us small business owners, because we're like, wow, here we are following the guidelines of Microsoft. We put into practices for small businesses, but then the government, who has even more layers of security, and they were able to hack the same Microsoft Office 365 platform. So now with that said, there are new reports this morning of how this nation state, and just so you know, when we say nation state, that's just basically meaning that there is a country. Now that a country that either financed it, that either directed it, because it's very difficult for an individual at this level of complexity to be able to just go and do something to the federal government. You have to have thousands and thousands of workers. You may have to have spies within the agency. You may have to have insider knowledge. You may have to be paying off somebody to find out what procedures are. So this is not something that is just a 16-year-old kid and he's just typing something and he's just like, oh wow, look at this, I can get into the government's system. No, this is very, very sophisticated and thought out of, because at the same time, these agency, this nation state does not want the U.S. government to know that it's doing it. So in addition to breaking in, they make sure that they cover all their tracks. So this morning, there was a news report that a company by the name of Solar Winds had something to do with this, in the sense that there was a certain update. So just so if you don't know, Solar Winds is basically a company that provides IT support and monitoring to businesses. But in fact, Solar Winds, they have, I was looking at the website, they have 300,000 customers worldwide, including all 5 branches of the U.S. military, the Pentagon, the State Department, NASA, National Security Agency, the Department of Justice, and the White House. So this company is a tool that the IT companies use in order to monitor systems of the computers and the network. So for example, in our company, we don't use SolarWinds, but we use one of their competitors that does something very similar. So apparently the hackers were able to find a flaw inside the SolarWinds application. And because it's public knowledge that SolarWinds uses SolarWinds is the customer of the White House and all of these federal agencies. This nation state was then able to use that flaw and get into these two particular departments, and then from there they were able to then monitor the Microsoft emails and then put in different type of malware on the computers so that they can then read the email. So that's at least a little better in the news, because before, as of yesterday, everybody thought that there was a major flaw on Microsoft, that the nation state was able to read the emails. But now this morning on Monday, we're now learning that, okay, yes, they were able to read the emails that were on Microsoft's 365 server. However, the reason why they were able to even get there is not because there was a opening in Microsoft, but there was actually an opening in a third party called Solar Winds. So of course now the FBI, CISA, which is the cybersecurity department of the federal government, Solar Winds, Microsoft, they've already released a patch to fix this, but unfortunately the damage is done. This department is the Treasury Department and the Commerce Department, and their tasks, which is called National Telecommunication and Information and Administration, or NTIA, they're a U.S. agency that's tasked with crafting internet and telecommunications policy. So why would someone care about this? Think 5G. 5G is a big thing. What is the U.S. policy going to be for 5G? Who's applied for it? Where they're going to be placing it? This is all information that these nation states want to be able to do, who knows, cyber warfare or different things. So this is all news, new news, and very unfortunate situations. And apparently the way they were able to find this out is from another hack that was reported last week, which is with Red Eye. And if you haven't seen that, I'll put a link below about what the software does. But just continue to follow our channel. If you are new here, thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe. And as soon as we get more reports about this hack, we will definitely provide it and be able to speak to you in English about what happened, and more importantly, how does this affect your business? What do you need to do in your business? And I would say in this particular case, definitely speak with your IT company. And if they're not already speaking to you about this and saying, hey, what software do you have on my machines, and is it up to date? Because in this case, it was the IT's company monitoring tool that had the flaw that allowed these bad guys to get in. So if your IT company is putting in certain software, they need to make sure that it's up to date. I've seen a lot of companies where they may have done a one-time installation of a very popular software, which I'm not saying anything is wrong with that software, but it's called TeamViewer. And with TeamViewer, they have different versions. And if you're not updating those versions or log me in, or any like those type of softwares that remote into your computer. And if you're not doing constant updates on those, because sometimes I'll work on a client's computer, a new client's computer, and I'll see TeamViewer and I'll double click on it because I want to look at the settings. And it says you haven't updated your application in more than a year. So that means that in that whole year period, if there was any open flaws on that software where a hacker could have got in, because that update wasn't done, that computer was vulnerable. So it's very important that you choose an IT company that is proactive when it comes to that. And it's very important when you get those software updates that you're actually doing those software updates to ensure that if there is some type of flaw like what happened now, you're getting the latest updates to ensure that the bad guys don't come into your system. So we'll see you next time and provide you more updates as they come. Thank you.